that an excellent day for a podcast is not for the weak of heart. It contains explicit language, roller coaster-like tangents, and the occasional breakout into song. All opinions expressed are just that, opinions, and belong solely to those who speak them. Listener discretion is advised. Spoilers ahead. On behalf of all the nerds, I'd like to extend our deepest condolences to the family and friends of Michelle Trachtenberg, Gene Hackman, and his wife. Their contributions to TV and film will not be forgotten.
What an excellent day for an August. You'd like that?
Are you fucking nuts?
I want you to pray to your God. I want you to pray that he comes and saves you.
Do I look like someone who cares what God thinks?
Hey there, horror fiends. I got a quick question for you. When was the last time we gave you just a good old-fashioned movie review? I'm sure you all missed it just as much as we have. Well, as we all work hard to put the final touches on our March Madness bracket, a couple of us decided to get together and have a little conversation about a little movie that's been getting some decent buzz in its theatrical run. So as if we don't say it nearly enough, if you have not yet seen Companion, pause right now, go watch it for yourself, form your own opinions, and then come back to this very spot and see where your opinions fall compared to ours. Go ahead, we'll wait. Alright, you've seen it? Let's continue. Join us as Danny C., myself, and everyone's favorite fifth Beatle, Kevin, talk some damn Companion. Now go to sleep.
And action.
Great intro. Great friggin' intro.
So, happy 38th anniversary to Dream Warriors.
Is today the day?
Yeah, I kept seeing on the interwebs, and I went and looked it up, and yeah, February 27th, 87.
Oh, shit. Dockin'?
Mm-hmm.
What was the Dockin' song leading into the movie? With Patricia Arquette?
I keep forgetting the name of it.
Into the fire.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just watching her on Severance. Kevin, did you happen to check that out yet?
Yeah, me and Amy, we're all caught up.
Dave, you haven't seen it, right?
Nah.
Yeah.
I know of it, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I saw her in there, and I was like, man, is that Patricia Arquette? And I'm like, damn, she's aged.
Now, see, for her, I always go to Lost Highway.
Lost Highway, I've never seen that one before.
Yeah, it's a bit of a head trip, but
That's Lynch, right? David Lynch?
yeah.
David Lynch?
Actually, you know what? It might have been the first full movie I saw of his. I was smoking weed at the time, so.
Oh, okay.
Oh, my-
1997. Bill Pullman.
Yep.
Robert
Yep.
Blake.
Right, Robert Blake's pretty fucked up in that.
And I thought that Gene Hackman was already dead. And here I got
Me
it mixed
too.
up with Sean Connery. That's who I got mixed up with.
Wait, Sean Connery's dead?
A
Yes.
couple years ago.
No
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, I was like, fuck, I thought Gene Hackman was dead. And then when I saw he died today due to some suspicious incident at his home with the wife and the dog.
Oh, see, I didn't even know about the dog. I just saw a thing saying that him and his wife's bodies were both found.
Yeah.
I didn't hear any mention of foul play, but that does seem weird. And yeah, I thought he was dead, and I thought Connery was still kicking.
No, I was like, who did I think was? For some reason, I was thinking Hunt for Red October or something, and then I was like, wait, I started thinking about it, and I was like, wait, that was Sean Connery, and yeah, he did die. So.
Wow.
Well, you probably got it mixed up with, was it Crimson Tide? Wasn't that a submarine movie with Jack?
All right, so
Gene
Crimson
Hackman?
Tide was Gene Hackman, right?
Yeah.
All right, yeah, so that's exactly what I went to then. Yeah, yep.
They're both very similar movies.
Yeah, I remember watching them both, and I think that's where I got my hiccup was. So,
So what are you, a subist? Do you think all submarines look the same?
no, down Periscope was definitely different.
Nah. All right, I'll say it right out of the gate. Spoiler warning. If you have not watched Companion yet, pause, go watch, and then come back.
Yeah, go see it. Even though I think they took it out of theaters, I think recently when Captain America came out, so I don't even know if it's even in theaters anymore.
They had to free up couple rooms.
Yeah, Disney had to buy like 12 more rooms.
Yeah.
Something they weren't gonna sell out for anyway.
I hear they're doing well.
I mean, I want the movie to do well. A Brave New World, our first Captain America movie
In what,
post Chris Evans.
6-7 years?
Yeah, I mean they had the TV show, so at least it's got to start there, with the new transition. So, but yeah, Companion. This was a January release.
What is it with these January AI fucking movies?
Me Regan.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember that coming out of the gate in 23, right?
That was the movie. There was no reason for that to succeed, and it did.
Well, this is far better for me. This is far better than Wolfman. So.
Yeah, I'd put it a little above.
And this was the feature debut for Drew Hancock, who was the writer and director for the movie Companion. It's about a weekend getaway with friends at a remote cabin turns into chaos after it's revealed that one of the guests is not who they seem. So,
if only the trailers would have been that vague.
Right. And I remember seeing the trailer, I believe, it might have been with, I don't know if it was Terrifier or it was another movie towards the end of last year, maybe Beetlejuice or something. But I think it's when I caught the first glimpse of this trailer. I didn't remember much after it other than the movie Companion, and because I see so many different trailers for so many different movies, I was like, all right, I can't wait for that to come out and go see it. And I kind of forgot about it. And then coming into this was like, oh yeah, by the way, I forgot this is already out, so let me go check this out. And I sometimes like to be surprised, and I won't go back to watch a trailer because it already had me intrigued one time. There's no need for me to go back and reinvestigate it and try and get into it any deeper. So,
yeah, I remember. I don't remember what movie it was either where they were playing the trailer, but yeah, it was enough to grab my attention. I don't know. It's weird because like in all the between the I only saw the one trailer when they're sitting at the dinner table.
Yeah,
I'm assuming there was more.
The teaser trailer, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the whole hand over the candle and all. I guess that didn't so much give it away, but the poster kind of gives away certain things.
Honestly, and that was a great teaser too because they didn't show anything, which is what teasers used to be. It was just kind of just like, hey, some weird stuff's happening, and then that's where it ends with her hand over the candle,
right?
And then from the people who brought you Barbarian, this movie, and then that's it. And I'm like, cool, I don't need to see any more.
You forgot about the writers of The Notebook or something, right?
Oh yeah,
the directors of The Notebook.
Like a romance.
Yeah, it's it's very romance cliched. Yeah.
It was like a twisted 50 Shades.
So I didn't think it was like a spoiler coming up. I didn't think that Sophie Thatcher, who plays Iris in the movie, I didn't think when she had her hand over the candle in the trailer, I did not think like she was a robot or some type of non-human off the bat. I thought she was like doped up on drugs or something. You get to those points where you can fuck yourself up, right?
Or maybe
drug
like
induced
hypnosis thing or something.
Like hypnosis. Yeah.
I honestly thought she was going to be either dead or like a possession before like cyborg. Mainly because like I think this is the scene where like he has the gun to her head and all, and I'm like, oh, can she just not die? And then she's like in some kind of weird weird personal hell where she's like, yeah, I can't die, but I can feel everything that's happening to me.
I never thought of that possibility. And I guess the closest I came to, on a similar note, like, because a lot of people were like, oh, the fucking poster gave it all away because of the eyes. If anything, my brain went to, okay, it's some kind of possession or like a supernatural thing. But it sounds like for the masses, a little bit from the teaser and then from the poster, everyone's like, oh, well, they gave it away. Now, granted, that's all first act shit that they establish.
I mean, I'm looking at the poster now. I mean, you can definitely sell it as like a possession movie. Her eyes are just white.
Yeah.
And you definitely could sell that as like a possession or something.
I still think they did a good job concealing yet giving you hints as to what she was. Like, what was her name? Kat? Who was the other one?
Yeah, Kat. Yeah, it was Kat and Ellie.
Okay. And then how she's saying, you know, she's like, oh, you hate me, or yeah, do you hate me? And she's like, well, I don't hate you, I hate the idea of you.
Yeah.
And
well, yeah, they're trying
because you make me
that's
replaceable. And even Sergey saying like, oh, well, this is what you were meant to do.
Yeah. Oh, and I have permission. I can do this. Like, that's what he said. Yeah, it definitely like, and that's why I really like the writing of this, where it's just like the writers and directors like, we want you to know what's going on. We're not trying to hide anything. We're giving you the pieces. We're giving you the breadcrumbs. And almost like they're not quite winking at the camera, which if they did, it probably would have took me out. But you know, they know like, hey, we know the audience isn't idiots. Like, you know, some heavy foreshadowing. We have the pieces for you. We're not trying to really hide that much. Which makes sense because the twist, I guess, is like only like 20 minutes in or something like that. It's pretty.
Yeah, it's not
early in the movie.
Yeah, like I said, it's pretty much like first act reveal.
Yeah, I just think if someone else would have wrote it, I think it would have came off. I think would probably come off like you're insulting the audience. I think a little bit too much.
If anybody else did it, or maybe if certain production companies touched it, they would have flat out spoiled it in the trailers, like just threw it in your face, but then still attempted to poorly hide it in the movie. I guess almost kind of like Abigail, where they tell you right out of the gate, oh yeah, vampire ballerina. And even though I guess they did a pretty good job at hiding it, but when you know that hard, you're not really looking for, you know, are they dropping any hints or any of that? It's just like, okay, when are they going to reveal it? Whereas
it's also like, they do also a good job at like I forgot Iris was a robot for like most of the movie. So I think again, the strength to the writing is like, hey, yeah, we told you she's a robot, and you just kind of forget. So it's kind of like it like almost doesn't matter that you knew that she was a robot, because they do the reverse, where usually most of these movies, usually the cyborg or the AI is usually the villain, and usually the group of humans well, they did the reverse, where the group of humans they're the pieces of shits, and she is the victim. So it's kind of like, yeah, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day because you're rooting for her anyway.
And she's being used as a pawn in this whole scenario that goes down, right?
Oh, she's being used as lots of things.
Yeah.
But most of it is her programming, so.
Yeah. Fuckbot. I think that's what they called it, right?
Yeah, and then what was it? Emotional support robot? Or how did he sugarcoat it?
Yeah.
I forget what he said.
It was casted really well, and I think Sophie Thatcher is playing Iris, right? I think she pulls off that whole entire... She's really good, like at that portrayal of you're human, you're robot, you're kind of in between, right? And she does really well, right? And I think it was well casted. She's very up and coming now. I mean, she had her Heretic. She was in. She plays in Yellow Jackets. It's crazy because when you hear her talk and you close your eyes, it's like young Juliette Lewis, and that's who she plays in Yellow Jackets, the younger version of her. It's just crazy. When you close your eyes and you hear her talk, it sounds just like Juliette Lewis. It's just crazy. And
she does kind of have that look.
She does.
She has a very her and Cape Fear kind of look in this one.
Yeah. Although the way she was dressed in this, I kept thinking Flo from Progressive.
But it was funny you brought up Heretic, because I was actually going to Amy when we were watching this. I said, what if this was like this and Heretic are in the same universe? She's like, what do you mean? I was like, well, remember that when he cuts her arm in Heretic, he's trying to convince her friend she's a robot.
Oh yeah.
I was like, what if this was just like a weird, like that's just another companion?
Oh.
So wait, is this like inspired by M. Night, and this was supposed to be the was it the split?
Secret sequel?
Yeah.
They're split for Heretic.
I also think Jack Quaid being in this movie as Josh, and he's the other main character here. The owner of Iris.
No, he rented it.
Yes.
Oh,
he couldn't even afford to buy it. He had to rent.
Well, he rented Iris. He's so douchey in his roles. It's just crazy when you watch him. He was in Scream 5, right? In The Boys too. Like he comes off, and it's perfect, right? Because he comes off being this, really like this whole douchebag this whole entire movie, and he plays it well. Yeah, like the nice guy, but he plays it so well.
And he looks just enough like a nice guy that when he tries playing that, or at least for me, like I almost kind of bought it a little bit. Even like when he reported the car stolen, and he calls her up and he's just like, hey babe, like we could fix this, we could start over. And like there was a second in there where I'm like, could he be turning around? And then I just started thinking of Fear, like, hey baby, come on, don't let me in the fire.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, like, he does, I think, maybe by not the second half of the movie, but the first half, I think he does legitimately like Iris. Because, like, he was taking forever to say goodbye and shut her down and stuff, but I just think, but that's because she was under his control, so once she got out of his control is when he's, like, stopped kind of liking her.
Yeah, because, I mean, like, even, we're jumping all over. Even, like, towards the end, like, when he was telling, was it at the dinner scene, or was it when the final battle? But when he was saying, like, oh, you know everything about me, and, she even said, like, yeah, you love to be in control. So I'm assuming that meant he admitted that at some point. And so, yeah, once he started, she got some level of autonomy, and he just lost it. He felt that was the one thing he had, like, absolute power over.
Right.
And
because she's even dressed, like, she's dressed in the very, kind of was like 50s looking kind of wife.
Yeah.
They meet in the supermarket, very Stepford Wives.
Yes.
Which is all over this movie. But it's kind of like, the stereotypical, like, guys, women back in the day, all they did was cook and clean, and, like, it's that. But it's funny because he masked that with, he thinks, like, kind of like the progressive guy, like, oh no, I actually know, like, women should, have their own thoughts and aspirations and all, but only in a certain environment under my control. Because he even does that with his friend Kat.
Yeah.
So, when she's trying to leave, and she even said, she was like, I'm different because you can't control me.
Yeah. Which was a fun one when when they go to do the search in the woods, and just like, all right, you guys go over there, and, like, me and Kat are going to go this way, and they're like, okay, wait, you and Kat, wait, are you guys fucking, like, and he's just like, well, no. She's like, gross. He's like, gross. Like, I guess he thought he was he had a shot there, but even it and I guess it kind of goes with that old school mentality of, the memory being they met in a grocery store. Like, who actually does that?
Well, it was good to kind of figure out where the starting point was, right? So they give you that memory of how they first met, right? Because you see them together. How did they get to that point being together? And she kind of goes in, the first day I met him, and the last day, I killed him, right?
That's the one thing I kind of didn't like. Like, I thought it was a great line.
You knew his demise was coming, right?
Yeah. Although towards the end, I started thinking he was getting away with it. So they played it well enough that I actually kind of forgot that line in the moment. But for like half the movie, it's just, okay, well, where's this going to end at, or how's she going to kill him?
I realized that, when they're going through in the beginning and they're kind of telling the story, because they don't really tell you that she's, a bot, right? So you got when they go through the motions of telling you how they met, and now they're taking a trip together, and they're in East Bumblefuck, and now they're going out there. You have no idea why they're going out there. You're thinking, oh, they're just getting away. You have no idea what's going on. Hey, I'm meeting your friends, and I hope they like me. And they go in there and they start, hanging out and having fun. And I think when you're like, well, what's the situation? How do they know each other? Number one, Sergey, did he not look like our buddy Kyle Gowner? I remember seeing Kyle Gowner. I saw that fucking stash, and I'm like, that's Kyle, right?
See, I got a little bit of Begbie from Train Spotting as well, the Russian version of him.
yeah, you're right.
But right between those two.
So when you see all this going down, and then she, you think, oh, they don't, Kat, his friend and everything doesn't like him, and she starts talking to her alone when they're on the couch, and she basically, Kat says to Iris, like, I'm not built like you, and to me, that's when I was like, oh, okay, now I get it. Yeah, now, she's a bot at that point. That's when it started settling in. I'm like, oh, okay, I got it.
See, I didn't initially pick up on it. Now, in the last, 48 hours, I did kind of whittle my way through a second viewing, like anytime, like on my lunch break and stuff like that. I went and watched some, and it is great. I almost like it better the second time around, because now that you know everything that happens, you see those, like Kevin was mentioning, the breadcrumbs, how well they were slipped in there. Even like that first night, they go, they do their thing, and then he rolls over and lays down, but it's all dark. So she's sitting there talking to him, asking him questions and all, and he was just like, oh, Iris, go to sleep. But the way it's lit, you don't see her go to sleep. You just
even in the beginning, it starts off, he goes, wake up, Iris, and she's asleep in the car. So you just think like, oh, she fell asleep on, the car ride. Hey, wake up, we're here.
because that's a very common thing on like, especially like a couples when they go on road trips. One of them's always sleeping.
No,
And,
they seemed to be both sleeping because the car was driving the whole entire time.
That's possible too. And but yeah, in that conversation with Kat, how she said like, what was it? I hate
The idea of you.
yeah, the idea of you, and you make me feel replaceable. I just took that as she's this goody and like she's perfect wife material, like the stereotypical
Yeah, because that's right.
wifey thing. So it's
And
like,
that's in the same, I was gonna say no, because that's in the same conversation, maybe right after, where she says basically she's Sergei's other woman. That he's married, and she's basically just using him.
Yeah. Which that was a great line too. Oh, he's got money and he's got this. He's got the perfect wife. Wait, what?
The not mobster. And you find out he wasn't even in the mob.
Right.
What was it? Soil?
He just assumed because he's Russian, he's in the mob, and I just never corrected you.
Well, he said he handles many things and he gets his hands dirty. Who would have guessed a sod farmer was it?
Yeah. I think that's the way that Jack Quaid says it. He was like, he's a sod farmer. Yeah.
And that's another reason why Jack Quaid character is like, he sees everything so black and white that if this is like this is what it means. And like pretty much I think everything he comes across, it's not black and white of, what he thinks something should be. It's not only just Irish Sergei, but also I think even with, I forget the name, the other companion.
Oh, Patrick.
Yeah. Because it's kind of weird. It's kind of like and that's even funny how he kind of switches to him because he likes the control. He likes
that's cool because in the beginning when they're going through that process, right, and they get to the point where you realize that she's actually a bot, right, and then they go back to when it was delivered to his house, right, and then here's the instructions on what you need to do, and this is how you follow it, and this is how you got to get in front of them, and then
this is how you pair to Bluetooth, and
right. So I thought that was cool. I thought that was cool by them to kind of hurry up and put that in there. They didn't take too long to build that out. It was quick and easy step for them that they could do during the movie to another bot if they need to.
And that was kind of like breadcrumb where the director and the writer, they want you to, like, they don't want to pull punches. They want you to get it. They're kind of looking at the camera. And when he says, he's like, oh, they don't hurt humans, animals, and other companions. Instantly, me and my wife looked at each other and we're like, okay, who's the other companion now? Because
I didn't pick up on that.
I didn't pick up until you said it now.
There's going to be another companion. Who is the other companion? And then, about like 20 or something minutes, you find out it's him.
And that was two other things I picked up on the rewatch, like, the whole dinner scene. And it was like, Patrick's the only one with a similarly passionate how we met story. So it's like, watching it the second time, it's like, oh, yeah. And the fact that the two of them hit it off and they both remember vividly how that first moment felt. It was like, they threw that at you. Although, again, I guess if you went in not knowing she was, you just figured they were both very passionate people. But they both had the same vivid memory. And like on the inside, it felt the same way. The other one that I loved on the rewatch when he goes, you want to see how we actually met? And they showed the delivery process. Did you guys catch what music they had when she was being brought into the door?
It's at the tip of my tongue because now that you say it, like
Goo Goo Dolls, Iris.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
So it was like weird. I'm like, that's odd. And then I'm like, oh, wait.
Yeah, I completely overlooked that the first time. But the second time, as soon as that door opened, I'm like, touche.
Yeah, that was good.
And that, and that's also funny too, because, of like how you want to meet someone to how you actually meet someone. It's kind of like, online dating sort of. It's just like, you don't, listen, me and my wife, we met on the app. So, it's whatever, but we're proud of it. We don't care. But there's people that legitimately are, they don't want people to know that. And this is kind of a mirror of that where you want to say, you met the grocery store and I knocked over and it was funny. And you don't want to say like, oh, I swiped right. And it just kind of worked out.
I was lifting her hair out of the toilet. She was throwing up.
I swiped right. She was drunk. It just worked. But I feel like nowadays, really the only question is, which app did you meet on?
Well, it's also his character.
Like, I feel like a lot of the stigma is gone these days.
Well, his character is also, he's trying to be that nice guy where he doesn't want people to see him like that. Be like, oh, this is how you got something. Like, no, I'm the nice guy. I meet the girl at the grocery store. Like, that's what I do. That's what people need to know that happened to me. Like, he's so involved. He wants people to have a certain, thought about how he is. And I think that's, that's why, like, he doesn't even say it's a rental. And then he even, he even throws shade at Eli a bit about having an older model, you know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I think he's like, no, like mine is, top the line, which is another, you can see like, especially in, olden times and older movies where like when they would, husbands all about their wives, you'd be like, oh, well, she has the latest and wearing the best and got the best work done by the best people,
Yeah. Oh, who does your hair?
Yeah, I like, for her being there, obviously she's trying to realize, I think at the point after they got done banging the one night, they wake up the next morning, oh, well, I think I'm going to have a couple cups of coffee. You can go down to the beach or whatever. She goes down to the beach and then she's like digging in her pocket and sees that she's got a knife in there. She has no idea why she has a knife in her pocket. So Sergey comes down and starts, hey, I know what you're used for, and wants to try and, do the ditty on her. And she ain't having anything. And then they kind of, fast forward to them in the house and they're all talking about what the plan was and why it's going down. You got Ellie, you got Kat there, and Josh and Patrick, and they're all talking about what's going down there and what's happening. And she comes back, she's covered in fucking blood. Like it's crazy. It's like, how did that much blood? You knew it was going to happen, or she was going to kill him, but how did she end up with so much blood all over her?
And I really like that reveal, and I don't know, like the way this was, I guess, edited and just paced in general. Like I love that they played it out that way, that they're just talking, and I keep thinking of like her reveal was like Jeremy Piven and what was it, Very Bad Things, when he comes walking out of the bathroom and he's just standing there, he's like, I fucked up. You guys didn't see that, did you?
No.
But kind of the same thing. He comes walking out of the bathroom all covered in blood. Now, granted, you knew he was in the bathroom and he was coming out, but yeah, she's just there. And then over the next like 5 minutes, then they show you what went down.
I mean, it's not hard for me to picture Jeremy Piven covered in blood for some reason, but
right.
in a white Vegas, hotel robe. I got to watch that again too. That's great movie. But yeah, that was great. Like you see him starting to get firm with her, and then they just cut away to the party, and then like boom, there she is, just drenched.
Yeah, and then you figure out she's got all these settings. You can change all these settings, and they basically
there's an app for that.
Yeah, the eyes, her sound, her intelligence, and how her reactions are, and
her language.
Yeah, which may or may not have come in handy.
And that's what I'm glad that, when they were going through the rules too, I'm glad they didn't go the route of 100% now she's indestructible. Because they do say, like, she isn't the Terminator. Like, she just becomes a really smart person, essentially. So she's still figuring things out. She's still messing up. And, like, which is, again, I'm really glad they did that because I feel like it would have been so easy to just basically rip off Terminator. Yeah. Now she's at 100%, which I guess they kind of do with Jacob's character with his 100% aggression. But even then, he can still be taken down. It's just, I just think he comes kind of at you full force that you kind of get caught off guard.
Yeah, as far as being violent, just all filters are gone.
Yeah.
So it wasn't, that, because they do intelligence, they do aggression, like there's all these parameters, but they never did anything as far as strength, did they? Or does aggression kind of count for that?
I think aggression.
Aggression's more just, I feel like it's like kind of like when you get a burst of adrenaline.
Right.
Like, I don't think any of them are indestructible. I think they're built just like to be kind of just as normal human as possible.
Yeah, as strong as, a humanoid robot AI thing could be.
I mean, she outsmarts Josh, right? In this scenario, because then she's got his tablet or phone, right? That controls all the settings. She has all the access to it, so she's making all the changes, and then she kind of like jets off and runs, right? So now they're on a manhunt to try and find her and see what's going on, and you feel like, and you find out like, hey, we got to split this 3 ways, and then it's like, what do you mean split this, or 4 ways? This is going to go 4 ways, and that's when you find out that
Patrick, he doesn't count.
Patrick, he doesn't count, and that's when they come out that Patrick, was a robot or a bot the whole time. So as she's going through and she's jetting and running and she's trying to figure out, she increases the intelligence, and now she's trying to figure out in her mind, like, all right, should I do this or should I do that? Should I get to the car and have the car drive me home? How do I get out of here? I have nowhere to go. So
I love how they played out those scenarios.
Yeah. And for me, I like that. It's like you're thinking the same thing. If I was in this scenario, this is probably what I'd be doing. And it kind of played out like this is how it would go naturally in a lot of those situations, right? So when it gets to that point, now, hey Patrick, you're gonna become aggressive and you're gonna jack up your stats and you're gonna go find her and everything. So then they're out in the woods, they're trying to go find her, and here Ellie gets killed, right? So now Patrick doesn't have a companion anymore, and they can't find where Iris is. So then Josh now reprograms Patrick to be his and listen to him and take his commands.
Yep. Hey, that was nice of him. He was willing to play the gay role for the sake of the power he wanted. I don't know.
But I find it hilarious that when Ellie and Patrick meet, they go over the whole story about how they're at a Halloween party.
Oh,
and
Eli.
Steps on Eli and Patrick are together at this Halloween. This is how they met. They're at a Halloween party. He steps on his tail. He was a dinosaur. He turns around and takes off his hat. And then the next thing you know, they're dancing together and they're in love. And then it goes to, as soon as Jack Quaid, Josh's character, programs them, it becomes Jack Quaid in the suit, and it's going through that, reliving that whole scene. I thought that was hilarious. I thought that was right on point. I was like, man, that's good. I like how they did that.
I don't know. I just feel like all that. Yeah, I loved how they switched that up, but I definitely think Eli looked more natural in the Yeah. Josh couldn't rock those moves the same way. It just wasn't the same effect.
Yeah. I mean, Jack Quaid, everything he played, like, he's totally a heel. Like, I think every role he is in, it's better when he's a heel. Yeah. Dennis Quaid. Well, it's weird because his father, right, grew up like he was not the heel, and now all his roles, like,
have you seen The Substance?
Yeah, The Substance is like number one. But I mean, like, more of his roles now these days, he's become a fucking douchey heel.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, he fits that. Maybe it'd be funny in the later half of Jack Quaid's career, he changes it and he goes opposite, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because you got the handsome leading man, which was his father, and then his mom, Meg Ryan, was the rom-com star, which is funny because Iris kind of is almost like that Meg Ryan role, which is
yeah.
Intentional. I don't know if it was intentional, but it is like kind of funny that that's what he wants and all. But like it's funny because he also has like that. I assume that's probably where he gets a lot of his charm is probably from Meg Ryan. But it's funny that he plays these more like kind of pathetic, sinister roles against those types because. But also I can see that I know. Everyone likes to talk about Nepo babies, he wants to, I guess, he would probably thrive more in roles that, not the romance roles. Let's do the roles that my mom and dad wouldn't have done. Maybe my uncle would have done, but not my parents.
I always think of a kid growing up, it was fucking Inner Space, the two of them, and Martin Short. I always, I remember movie vividly as a kid watching that. I'm possessed!
You mean Dumb and Dumber Martin Short?
Yes, Dumb and Dumber Martin Short and Steve Martin. What could have been?
Yeah, that messed me up a little bit. Although I would have liked to have seen Gary Oldman.
Yeah, I don't know how. I really don't know how them two would have fit into that role, but I'm glad we got what we got.
Yes,
and they didn't go backwards.
But I do want to see that episode of What If.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's and like I said, I think part of what makes it work is he could play sleaze so well, but he looks sweet enough that he could easily cash in as being the heartthrob. Yeah. But he doesn't. So, and I think that works well in this movie that, like I said, when he had those moments of where he's pretending to be nice, you almost believe it for a second.
Yeah, me and Amy watched this and we kind of agreed, like, he's like really good at playing that type of role and he does it his own way that it makes sense. And people probably think it's easy to play that role, but we actually watched a movie called Your Monster, like the same weekend we watched this.
Oh, we saw that. At least I saw it.
Yeah, I didn't watch it.
So they kind of have a douchey boyfriend character in that, but that guy is like, it's almost like a discount version of what Jack Quaid's playing in this movie, where like, you kind of got to like, yeah, he is the villain, he is douchey and all, but he still has a little bit of charm because you are looking through the eyes of Iris, who, even though she's programmed, has to find some kind of, you got to be charmed by this guy. Yeah. Where they try doing that in Your Monster and they fall flat. This is like probably one of the most unlikable guys I've seen in the movie recently. And I think a lot of that has to do with Jack Quaid. Kind of almost like I would compare him to actually, Scream with David Arquette with Dewey, where that character, you give it to somebody else, it comes off doofy from Scary Movie. But David Arquette does it in such a kind of like endearing way that, like, no, he's Dewey. Like, that's that character. You can take him seriously. He has that charm. And I think Jack Quaid does the same thing with this role, where it's like, yeah, he's the villain, but you got to be charmed by him too, because he is the quote unquote of this movie, the male, romantic lead.
Yeah.
All right.
Agreed. Because yeah, I don't know if I could think of anyone else I would have wanted to see in this.
No, I think, like I said, I think from a casting perspective, I think that they did it well. Very well done.
They nailed it across the board. Except for Eli, I don't know if this is like, I don't know what the term is, but I got like a young Nathan Lane vibe out of him.
I understand that, because I don't know if you watch What We Do in the Shadows.
Do in the Shadows, yeah, that's where he's from.
I saw the movie.
Yeah, he does kind of have that kind of vibe of like kind of like a Nathan Lane, maybe a little more toned down Nathan Lane, but
it's definitely toned down, but yeah, he plays it well.
But no, I liked him. I actually felt bad for him. He was kind of just there. They even said like, oh, we just needed to make our story sound. We needed witnesses.
Yeah, like, they literally covered all their points on why everybody was there and everything that they were doing. If you went back, it was very fluid, right? And I thought that was, for me, that's key on a movie, right? Everything meant something.
Yes. As
it went through the movie.
And for the most part, it was very simplistic. Like they didn't overcomplicate.
They kept it simple.
Yeah, they like you said, they had a reason for everything that was done. The dialogue was very intentional. And like I said, especially on a rewatch, you pick up on, they're telling you in that first 20 minutes what's going on, but they do it just subtle enough that, they're not smacking you in the face with it. But as soon as, again, if you go into this and you didn't know that part of it, you're kind of kicking yourself like, oh, geez, like they just said this. How did I not make that connection?
Well, I think it's, they're just, we've seen this story before. We've seen Her or Ex Machina, where, it's an AI intelligence story. And they're like, you know what? Let's not make it doom and gloom. Let's not make it like AI is taking over the world. If anything, the way this world's showing is that they're actually like living together, sort of. Like, there's no robot uprising or anything like that.
Yeah.
And they're just like, let's just have fun with it. And let's not have these existential talks about humanity and who created who. It's like, let's just have fun for 90 minutes, and I think that's kind of what they did. It's like, we don't need Terminator 7. Like, we just don't need that. And then like, yeah, again, they didn't have you kind of choose a side, humans or AI. It's like, okay, there's both flaws on, each end. And again, like, there's no uprising, no war. It's just they're living together and, kind of figure it out. And having fun while doing it.
And you did get the aggressive side of Patrick.
Yeah.
Who becomes
Josh gave the aggressive side to Patrick.
Right. Well, obviously he wanted Iris caught. And he's like, yep, I want you to go track her down and bring her back. And in the meantime, obviously she gets into the vehicle. I loved how she was playing with the voice to try and get it like the car was not going to respond to her. So now she's going to play with the adjustments on the remote to try and get her voice to change to mimic Josh's, and then finally gets it after he's trying to get through into the vehicle to trying to stop her. And then it finally starts going, and then out of nowhere it stops. It's it's disabled at that time, and it's reported stolen. And then you see a cop as she's trying to get out of the vehicle. Now she's stuck in there. She's trying to get out of the vehicle. She's trying to kick it through. Here a cop pulls up, and then the cop gets out, and she's like, what am I supposed to do? She's trying to like process in her head what's going on, and then she's like messing around with the languages so she can change the language so she can act like she doesn't understand what's going on and why she's a wreck, and booting out the fucking window. And it's like, oh shit. I said, yep, here he comes. And you see like behind him, Patrick starts running, picking up speed and trying to get close to the cop. And
that was probably the closest Terminator reference. Like he T-1000 up on his ass.
Yeah.
It's just like, woof.
Well, and that's, even in case, a point where I said, like, humans are, like, kind of the psychopaths of the story, is that even, like, once she says that she knows Sergey, he's like, oh, Sergey. It's like, what have you, like, seen in the past with Sergey that a barefoot woman covered in blood's knocking out the windows, and as soon as she says his name, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, cool, yeah, I'll take your name.
Is Sergey the Russian Epstein or something? Because he knew him all too well, but he also... the whole idea, oh, well, yeah, let me get you back to him. Like, yeah, I don't want to piss this guy off kind of thing. But
He
again,
holds some weight in town, Dave. Come on.
and again, like brilliant writing as far as you didn't get that exposition dump.
Yeah.
Like they leaked you a little bit of information as pretty much as you needed it. And so the whole thing with, they tease you with, oh yeah, I could say you to any language and all. And they also explain how, part of your programming is you cannot lie. So like that was the best way to get around that. She didn't want to tell the truth. So what was the next best thing? All right, well, I'll just speak in German and hope he doesn't understand it. And flat out tells him what the hell's going on, but he don't speak German.
Right. And to me, that's where a lot of this movie picks up. It's a lot of dark comedy, right?
I did listen to like a few reviews over the last couple days, and yeah, everyone's saying it's a romantic comedy with murder. And I don't know. I mean, I definitely had a lot of chuckles in it. I never saw it. I just figured it was, I guess a sci-fi thriller with some laughs in it.
It kind of reminded me, and this is not so much sci-fi, but it reminded me from a couple years ago of Fresh.
Yes,
Sebastian Stan.
I was going to bring it up earlier, and I forgot the name of it.
It has a very similar vibe.
Yes, without the basement.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and Sebastian Stan is kind of like that character too. I guess if anyone could do it, it'd be Sebastian Stan if anyone was going to play that character. But
I'd let him.
But his character's the same way. But yeah, I kind of got the same kind of vibe. Again, it's the balance. It's we're gonna show you kind of like, not that anything gets too heavy, I think, in this, but like we're gonna show you some messed up stuff, but then we're gonna dilute it with some laughter. And I think kind of like, okay, let's bring us down, let's get back to here, okay, let's get back to the story. And actually, I think a perfect example of that is actually towards the end where she shoots herself in the head, and you're like, and again, she's a robot, so you shouldn't really care, but you do, and you're like, yeah, oh my god, like you actually feel sad for a bit. And then when it comes down, the reveal of Jacob in the cop suit was hilarious. When they show her, that was so funny. When they show her, he's just like looking up at him, and then when they hit you with the, we don't keep everything up in the head, which is like, you would think like as you're building these robots, and this company has to know what people are doing with these robots. So from a manufacturer standpoint, why would you put everything in the head? So
what do they do? What do they do with the bots, Kev? I don't know what they're doing with the bots.
Well, there's a lot of people that have a lot of fantasies, but you know what? She's a rental, so they probably are going to damage her too much. But
gently used.
Yeah. So, but no, it's funny. He's like, everything's in the diaphragm, and I think even the guy says, I think later, he was like, this story's bogus. This guy did something, but we'll check the footage and we'll see what happens. But it's like kind of like that moment, like, oh my God, there's actually a chance, even though she shot herself in the head, and it's like, I guess it would make sense.
Yeah, because it was so convincingly human. Like, it just made sense. Like, of course, you blow your brains out.
And that's, going back to my point with him earlier about how he sees everything black and white.
Yeah.
That's another perfect example. He's like, she shoots herself in the head, like she'll be gone and basically shut down. And again, it's another thing. It's like, oh crap, he's like, I didn't think of that. And then that's, the final last thing is like, screw it, just go kill these guys. We'll figure this out later.
Yeah, and the added touch of, and it didn't fully register until the rewatch that, so not in the head, but then also, because again, your instinct, if you were going to shoot somebody, you would either go for the head or the heart. But no, it's in the abdomen.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, they even said when they were wheeling her out, wheeling her not corpse out, saying like, come on, like, some people get these things just for target practice. So it does kind of make sense. Let's keep it away from the two areas that people would instinctively aim for.
And it's also like a good reminder that, all these things happen to her, and then the movie's like, nope, remember, she's not human.
Yep.
It's kind of like it brings you back every like half hour. You're like, remember, she's not human, so yes, this could stop a human, but can't really stop her. And it's kind of like, oh yeah, I forgot, she's not an actual person.
Yeah, I guess kind of playing off your last couple points, how now whether or not it was intentional, but how in a sense they were controlling us, kind of like how Josh was controlling. Like they regulated how we felt from moment to moment. Like, okay, we're a little too giggly now. All right, something horrible is going to happen. Now you're all wound up and tense, and it's like, all right, now let's bring it back to the light end. Let's get you laughing a little bit here. Okay, you know what? Here's a sweet scene for you to work off of. And but yeah, I'm wondering if that was intended. Like, let's see if we could control the audience like Josh is controlling his thing. Oh yeah, that's what I was going to say too. Like how well they played off. Yeah, like you legit forget that she's not human a few times throughout. So
You definitely do.
Yeah, and they even play with that a little bit with the candle scene, because he even says like, "Can you feel that?" And she says yes, and you know she can't move, and which is, you know, I will say that is like kind of, I guess, something I haven't really seen lately is that, you know, a robot with feelings, because I feel like a lot of these robot movies are like they don't feel anything, and that's kind of the thing. But it's like this one, it's like, wow, these robots feel too much. It's, you know, it's
but
like,
and again, it's something they kind of let you in on, like when they're first having to talk. But, you know, when he's explaining to her what's going on, like she's talking about like her feelings and all, and they're like, no, these are like algorithmic and some mechanical functions that, yes, you are feeling something, but it's probably not the true feeling, but you are programmed in a way that you're feeling something. So I gotta find this company.
well, it's even,
You're gonna get a delivery next weekend?
Shit, I couldn't even afford to rent one.
it's even funny when kind of even go into that of him explaining how she is. And I don't know if it's intentional. I'm sure when he wrote the script it was, but it's like, it's trying to also, it's like explain to someone how your brain works.
Yeah.
Like the human brain. It's like, you can't answer that one either. So it's kind of like, you know, well, one and the same, you know, kind of situation, because like, yeah, if you look at like science, like textbooks of the brain, it's not, you know, you really look at it, and then you look at electrical brain, you look at an organic brain, like I'm sure, unless you know the ins and outs, it looks very similar, which again, I'm sure it was intentional, but I'm afraid to say it was, because what if the guy's just like, yeah, no, I wasn't trying for that. That just kind of worked out. Because it's like, yeah, how do you describe feelings of a person? How do you describe behaviors? You really can't. It's just, that's like human programming.
Yeah, and I mean, everybody's going to have some kind of feeling in general that they can't put into words, but all of the basics, you know, like love, you still may not be able to give a definitive explanation of what that feeling is, but everybody has felt it at some point. So when you say that, they get it. They may experience it in a different way. Certain types of pain or, all different human emotions and feelings, you know, it's enough common ground. So I'm just kind of thinking this out loud now. But yeah, you're right. Like, for them to say like, oh, I feel something, but they can't explain it, like, yeah, that is a very human thing. All right, I just translated what you said in the words that I can understand now.
I just don't understand. I love them.
And I think she also gets it, because like, and that was a big fear of mine too, when he goes into like, okay, I'm just gonna be blunt with you, I'm gonna tell you you're a robot. I thought we were going to spend like a whole like 45 minutes of her like coming to realization. It's like, nah, like within a couple minutes, just like,
thank God they didn't do that. You're absolutely right, Kat. Thank God they did not go down that route.
And again, like we were saying, like, I like how they sprinkled in the information, because it did feel like that. And then that's kind of how a lot of movies go now. Like, all right, we're going to give you 100% of the explanation, how she came to be, all the rules, all the functions and all this. No, they gave you enough. It's like, okay, if you didn't already know, she's a robot. This is how he acquired her. Here's a couple rules. All right, let's get on with the movie. And again, the way they played it, where Kat walks in like, what the hell are you doing? Like, well, I wanted to say goodbye. Well, no, like, don't. So, and then the next, you know, when they were getting closer to another thing happening, like, they would sprinkle in a little more, like, oh, well, this is another thing that, you know, this is another one of the rules for the whole thing. And then 5 minutes later, it gets put to use.
I mean, at least she didn't grab a basketball and throw it at somebody's head. I'm just saying.
Actually, that took it down a point for me, the fact that it didn't.
Throw it at Kat. Actually, no, see, Kat was a character where I hated when she first came on.
Right.
And then, like, but then, like, you know, when me and Amy were watching it, I was kind of like, but you know what? I said, like, if I put myself in that position, I don't know how I would feel if I'm having a party and then this cyborg just walks in. I said, I don't know how I would feel. So I said, I guess I can see it. And then I actually ended up feeling bad for her when she ultimately does die, when tells Jacob stop her and just stabs her in the back.
Yeah, I mean, hell, like Josh almost seemed disappointed by that as well. Because he's like, what the hell are you doing? And he's like, well, you told me to stop her. And it was like, well, I didn't mean that.
And
So
that
he
was
was
after he was like emasculated that's when she said you can't control me, where he's like, stop, and she just keeps walking, and you can kind of see his panic in his face, like, oh, I don't have control over this shit.
Yeah. So yeah, just across the board, like, you know, I'm not going to say it's going to be my favorite of the year because, well, first of all, it's early. And as much as I liked it, I don't know if I would call this a perfect movie, but the writing was amazing.
It'll definitely be up there. It'll probably be somewhere by my top 10 probably of this year. But again, as we say, I think I have to watch it again. I think come like December maybe.
Yeah.
Do a rewatch and then kind of, you know, do a recap. But I mean, it's, you know, so far it's up there. All three movies I've seen this year so far.
Yeah, I think it's very fun. I'm a huge fan of, you know, obviously of horror, of comedy, horror. You know, Return of the Living Dead is one of my favorite movies, right? So it's not as gory as that, right? So it's just like, is it really horror? Is it more of a sci-fi thriller? You know, it's a little mix of everything, which to me it was well done, right? I think that the writing was really well. The editing was great too. And when they cut to the right scenes and doing flashbacks and stuff, and how they kind of piecemealed everything together from the beginning to the end, how everything lined up, I thought it was awesome. I thought it was a well done movie. I think it would be in my top 10 by the end of this year, because I don't really see, when I see all the titles that are coming out this year, you know, I don't know. I doubt it's not going to be in my top 10. I very much hope it is, because I had a lot of fun with it. I really enjoyed it a lot, and I was glad I didn't know a lot going into it, what I was going to expect. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, it definitely helped, but kind of like with was it Lowlifes, you know, Abigail, things like that. Like, even having this one element spoiled, it doesn't take away from the movie. It may take away that reveal, but
no,
it's not
still enjoyable.
Yeah,
it's still enjoyable knowing those things.
It's not like Sixth Sense or something where like the whole movie gets ruined if you were to say it. It's it's kind of like, it's really, I guess it's kind of like Longlegs last year, where it's like, yeah, they were trying to hide what he looked like, but like, even if you saw what he looked like, it didn't really ruin anything. It just like, okay.
Because even like in the like the trailers and all, didn't they at least give you his chin or something?
Yeah,
giving you part of his face.
Yeah, or even, you know, they did the same thing with Nosferatu too, where they hid him and stuff like that. But it's just like, but just because they're hiding something, or at least trying to, like, it's not the end all.
And I would agree. Like, definitely. Right now, I would definitely say it's easily going to make top 10. I hope I'm wrong, but I see all these people posting like the little collage of like everything getting released this year and how excited they are. All right, I guess I'm a bit of a curmudgeon on this one, but
no, you're not.
If what everybody's posting about is going to be the peak of this year, this movie might actually be in my top 5.
Could be.
Because, not saying I'm not excited about any of it, but again, it's like mostly sequels, and I feel like the last couple years, there was at least some excitement of possibly something original coming out. Like how last year you had Longlegs, you had like Late Night, you know, just a couple movies that someone shot their shot, you know, stream. Like
in a Violent Nature, come on.
Yeah, like there was some attempt at not reinventing the wheel, but some level of originality coming out. It feels like this year, a lot of what people are focusing on is, you know, a lot of sequels, or I don't know. It just seems like a lot of recycled IP.
I don't know, but I think you just gotta also just let it play out, because there's still a bunch of movies like the word of mouth movies, the ones that no one's looking at, that all of a sudden come out and then people are talking about. Like, those movies I think haven't came out yet. You know, and there's also the festival, you know, circuits, you know, where the festival movies haven't like been played yet and stuff. It's just, I think, too early to tell, because I think that's every year. Every year it's always like the most anticipated movies, and yeah, it's all sequels, but then as you get to like by June, you kind of get a better idea of what's to come out and stuff like that. Because there are some good ones 2025, you know, like Death of a Unicorn is one, or Sinners. Like, they're actually probably my two highest right now in just horror.
Yeah, Death of a Unicorn looks like a good time.
Yeah. Death of a Unicorn and Sinners looks pretty... Well, I like Ryan Coogler. I like his movies, and, you know, Ryan Coogler, vampire, horror, western. Like,
I'm going to have to look that up. I know I heard the name as far as there's a movie of that, but I don't know anything about it.
It kind of almost looks like take the story of From Dusk Till Dawn of them like in one location fighting vampires, but set it in like Louisiana South. From what I've seen, and then there's a new Frankenstein coming out from Guillermo del Toro in November, so that's probably gonna end up being my number one. So
I didn't realize how many sequels are coming out this year. You got Black Phone 2, you got 28 Years Later.
All right, well that one that's been years, so like that one I'm okay with.
28 of them. Nah.
You got Megan 2, you got Five Nights at Freddy's 2.
All 11.
You got, Saw 11, you got Return to Silent Hill, Blood and Honey 3. Do we really need that?
Wow, I haven't heard anything about 2. So
The Conjuring,
yeah,
Last Rites, that's number 4, right? So
Strangers.
Strangers 2, which, oh god, the first was terrible. But
you think they're going to course correct on this?
they're going to have to. And I think it's going to be different, and which will appease me to kind of go back, and I'm going to go watch it, but I just was not fond of the first part. It just was a mirror of the original one.
Remake, yeah. I haven't heard anything good about it, so
it's not even worth the time to watch it.
I'd rather watch Smile 2 than
when a horror movie comes out, just comes and goes, it's really bad, because usually there's always some kind of defender, I feel like, for a lot of movies. But when a horror movie comes out, just comes and goes with no time whatsoever, it's mostly going to be bad.
Yeah, because even if it comes out even remotely under the radar, you're at least going to get like the 12 Angry Men effect, that you're going to have enough people that like it that, it'll blow up. It may not be until it comes out on streaming or something like that, but when it's just a blip and then radio silence,
And then, you got Five Nights at Freddy's, where it's either you love it or hate it, and everyone goes to war against it.
Couldn't we just get a Willy's Wonderland 2 instead?
Yeah, I think everybody would prefer that.
I'd rather the sequel of the superior movie.
I just say, just put Nicolas Cage in Five Nights at Freddy's. it's just make it easier.
There you go.
We don't need the kid. We don't need the guy from Hunger Games in there. Just throw Nicolas Cage go up against Matthew Lillard. There's a movie.
What? I wonder if Willy's Wonderland was kind of like the whole Megan thing, where they did the Child's Play remake, and then a lot of people were saying like Megan was basically, all right, we see what you were trying to do there. Now, like, here's how it's done. I wonder if that's what it was. They heard there was a Five Nights at Freddy's, and they were like, let's get Nicolas Cage and just make the better movie, like, preemptively.
I don't know what was the whole production story of that movie, because I'm sure, like, I mean, when they were making Willy's Wonderland, I'm sure they were like aware that they're ripping off Five Nights at Freddy's
Or the Banana Splits.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
I hope I'm wrong. Like,
we'll see.
Obviously there's
to be determined, Dave.
Yeah, there's always a few sleepers that just show up out of nowhere. See, that's one thing I got to do one of these trips. So we're doing the New Jersey Con this weekend, and from the first time I went, it's New Jersey Horror Con and Film Festival. And I've always wanted to check out the film festival end of it, and every time I miss out on it. Like, I just get so involved with everything else to the point where it's like, all right, I'm tired, I'm going to go. And not thinking, like, I could sit and, like, watch some movies or some shorts or something.
Is it like people that made the movies they watch, or is it do they just throw, like, My Bloody Valentine and have everybody watch it?
Now, as far as I know, the few times I looked into it, it sounds like indie stuff. Like, we could submit something.
I mean, listen, I'm not trying to take a shit on, people making, movies and stuff, but, like, I mean, come on, you're there at a con for a couple hours. The last thing I want to do is watch a student film,
I do want to look into it because, and of course they had their own little...
And they're trying to be like fucking Cronenberg and David Lynch put together.
Like, what does it mean?
Well, like the South Park episode with Butters trying to, become a new type of villain. Substance did it.
Well, and that's a movie, like Companion. Like, I'm glad we're, I mean, there's always going to be those movies that are have a deeper meaning, very dark, like Hereditary or like a lot of A24 movies. But, I'm glad we're starting to kind of get away from that a little bit and, like, kind of going back to having fun, like with Megan or Companion, Megan, in Violent Nature. We're going back to, like, okay, we can have fun. These don't have to be dreary movies about grief or mourning something. We can just kind of have fun.
I mean, Low Life last year was pretty fun.
And, like, we're getting a good mixture now where I feel like for a good couple of years we were only getting, like, the Hereditaries.
It was Yeah. Once one thing, like we were saying, like with Scream, like when that came out, you had almost a decade of cut and paste meta teenage slasher type movies, and that's all they focus. Like I'm glad to see so far the 2020s as a whole. There's not necessarily that one subgenre that everybody's latching onto.
Yeah.
You're always going to get copycats, but it sounds like more people are shooting their shot, trying to do something at least somewhat original. And I mean, that's definitely something I would give to this decade at this point. Kind of like how, what was it, during the hot takes, how someone was saying 2024 will forever be the greatest year in horror. Right now, I'd say, again, as far as like the variety of what people are trying to put out there, this is shaping to be a pretty solid decade. We'll see if it continues, or who knows, maybe there's going to be that one super hit again where, you know, the last half of the 2020s is going to be more copy paste of that one movie that did well.
I mean, unfortunately, with horror, that's kind of what happens. It kind of gets oversaturated. And then, but you know what? I don't mind it because then it kind of forces people to do new things.
Yeah.
And like kind of innovate more. Like, okay, these movies aren't doing as well as they should be. Let's pivot, and then we'll run that into the ground and bring it back.
Yeah. 20 years
remember
from now.
requels? Remember everyone was getting a requel? Now no one's getting one.
Yeah, I didn't think of that, but it has
Dream,
died down a little bit.
Candyman, Exorcist, Halloween, all these requels, and then kind of the 1-2 punch of Halloween Ends and Exorcist Believer kind of killed that.
So you're saying Blumhouse did a good thing? They woke people up to these
I'm
movies.
watching in my dark universe.
Yeah.
So what do you guys rate this movie? Dave, you want to go?
I'm somewhere. I'm somewhere between a 7, maybe a 7.5, but I'll stick with 7 for now. Like, I definitely really liked it. Again, not the most mind-blowing thing. Like I said, I just thought the way they edited, the pacing of it all, how they revealed the information, it was kind of refreshing. So yeah, just that alone, the writing and how they pieced the movie together. Maybe I talked myself into a 7.5.
And I'm basically ditto right there with you. I had me at a 7.5 out of 10, and for all the same reasons. I love the pacing. I love the cast. I think the cast was really, they were good. All of them were. It was really well done. I thought it was really funny at times, and it brought me back into what's really going on and the darkness of it. And some of the kills, how they end up getting killed isn't too crazy, right? It's not mind blowing or anything, but it doesn't need to be. It's simple.
It's not trying to be that too.
Right. And I don't need that all the time, and that's fine. I thought, when she's covered in blood and, after coming in, it's like, what the fuck happened out there on the beach and whatnot?
And they actually made you want to know, how did she get that covered? Yeah. And it's like, hold on for 30 seconds. We're going to walk you through this part of it.
Yeah. And they do go back and forth and, give you an opportunity to kind of roll like, oh, well, this makes sense and that makes sense and this is how I would do it, and they clue you back into the little things that mean everything, and that's good. I'm not, I don't need everything to be told to me. Sometimes you leave it up to the imagination, but this movie is not meant to be that way, right? So it was a good time for 90 minutes. I think people should go and watch it. They'll probably really enjoy it, especially going in blind. They'll probably really enjoy it too.
Which they won't hear this part of it if they follow our rules and watch it before listening, but yeah.
Right. And it was well done. If this was a premiere feature for Drew Hancock as a writer and director for this movie, good job.
Yeah.
Sold me.
Yeah, the only thing, I can't even say it would, because I was going to make the joke, like 2 things, this would have easily been like a 9.5, but there were 2 factors that brought it down. One was that there was no basketball or Aaron Ramsey, and which I guess you can't make a movie without Chekhov's gun. But the one thing that I didn't know where the movie was going to go. Like I said, I wasn't even focusing on like, oh, is she a robot? Like any of that. The one thing I knew 1,000% from the moment it showed up was the fucking corkscrew. They focused on that bottle opener way too hard. And I'm like, yeah, that's coming up at the end of the movie.
Yeah. I'm sure there's a safety feature on that where it doesn't work that way, but they made it work, so.
What are you talking about? Corks are pretty dense. Like, it could probably be similar. Could be similar to, like, a temple. As just a corkscrew disco.
2-Eye Kevin, what do you give it out of 10?
Out of 10, I mean, I think I would rank it a little bit higher than you guys. I'm trying to think of what would knock points for me, because I probably would go more like 8.5 maybe. But I think it's because, again, it subverted it went away because like it's like it kind of took like, hey, every cliche, and they kind of like tease you with these like cliches and like just getting we're actually going to go in this route. And what kind of I guess knocks points is that maybe they do it one too many times for me. Like probably by like the sixth one, you're kind of just like, okay. But then again, I don't know, I was kind of at a point where I'm like, okay, well, how are they going to do it differently? Like, I know you're going to do it differently. How are you going to do it? So that's kind of, I think, why I'm in between that 8.5. But I probably confidently would say 8. Okay. And I know it's hard for me to say like why not a 10 because like, but I don't think it's perfect. So
and that's how I rate it too. I don't think I've ever ranked it perfect.
I have to see what else kind of comes out. And again, I would probably, I always do a recap every year of kind of the ones I want to go back to, or maybe around Halloween, I'll watch it again and kind of, see if I still feel that way.
And again, like I said, on this second watch, and even though it was a half-ass watch, because again, just kind of nickel and dime bit, like I was probably slightly lower. Like the first watch, I was like, I enjoyed that. That was a good time. The second watch definitely brought it up between a half a point and probably closer to a full point. And it is something that knowing how much more I liked it this time, like I actually want to watch it more.
Yeah, I definitely want to watch it again.
And I think, who knows, by the end of the year, I might,
I think ultimately what knock points is that I think I wish maybe some like Eli and Kat were a little bit more fleshed out. I think, granted, they're not the main people of the story, but I do think maybe spent a little bit more. Like I want to like kind of like between Kat and Josh, like maybe like clearly they have a past, like maybe dived a little bit more. I feel like Eli and Kat were a little bit like we probably could have used a little more character. That's probably the only, I think, thing maybe. But then again, I don't know how I would have fixed that, without adding another half hour and then making it maybe feel too long.
Yeah, and I forget who brought it up earlier. I can see that, but on the other hand, apparently they gave us enough because you felt horrible when they died.
Yeah,
and it was again, but you're right. You didn't know that much about them, but when their time came, it was like, oh, that sucks. Like. You really didn't want to see them go. And yeah, as much of a bitch as Kat was from the moment she opened the door, yeah, by the time she goes out, it's like, oh.
It's like, oh, I kind of just want to get you to get hurt. You don't have to get, stabbed in the back. And
even then, I didn't realize until that moment. I actually, to me, like, I just felt like, you know what? She took her half and just got out of the picture altogether. Like, I would have been completely satisfied with that ending. It was just like, this got way out of hand. This isn't what she signed up for. She took her cut and she left. Well, tried to.
The saddest character was Patrick.
Yeah.
And I'm sure this is going to come up again. I'm pretty sure the other guys are eventually going to want to chime in about it. Although I have a feeling this will be another conversation for the year-end discussion. Because like I said, it sounds like we're all in agreement that it's most likely going to be a top 10 for all of us.
I think so.
And like I said, if I'm hoping there's more, like I said, either sleepers or just movies that, who knows, maybe there's something that's completely under wraps that, we're going to get a big surprise and all. But right now, I'm not seeing a lot that wouldn't put this movie in my top 5 as of now. But it's February, so
you can go check out Popeye's Revenge.
There are a couple that when I go on Prime, there's a couple that have been coming up for this year that seem somewhat interesting. Drawing a blank on all the names, but there was at least, I'd say, 3 movies that might check it out. It probably suck, but again, I'm feeling confident enough that somebody's going to do something good that nobody, like, I'm waiting for that next Lowlifes. I think that's what it is. I'm being foolishly optimistic.
It's going to be that word of mouth movie where, like, it wasn't on your radar, you weren't even going to check it out, but then you'll just hear... Yeah, a bunch of stuff. Barbarian was like, that was Barbarian for me. I didn't really...
I actually didn't want to watch... I had no desire to see Barbarian, but I just heard enough buzz about it. It's like, or maybe it was when one of the guys on the show brought up, like, oh, we should talk about that. Like, I watched it I felt compelled to some extent. Like, all right, I'll watch it. And it was like, oh, shit, this is actually pretty good.
I mean, that's also how Get Out kind of became a huge hit. That was
word of mouth.
Yeah, that was kind of a sleeper hit.
I think for me, with Get Out, it was more a matter of, now, that's kind of why I was given this Halloween trilogy so much credit. But, like, with Get Out, it was like, I'm a fan of enough comedians and have heard them enough behind the scenes that comedians have dark senses of humor.
Yeah.
So it's like, even though I'm not, like, I've seen a lot of clips of Key and Peele, but I never followed them or anything like that, but I knew he was funny enough. I'm like, if he made a horror movie, it's got to be pretty good.
Yeah.
And,
All tragedies at the end.
yeah. So, and that's what it was with Halloween when I heard fucking...
David Gordon Green.
Yeah, nah,
Danny McBride wrote it.
Yeah, McBride. I'm like, he's definitely got to have a twisted horror movie in his head. So, but again, 2018 was good.
No, that's a great movie. I love 2018.
Yeah, it was definitely, I'd say, top 5 sequels of the whole franchise, or however you want to categorize it.
But I think that's also, of that new trilogy, that's the one I think they cared the most about, because again, they're just like, no one was asked for a new Halloween movie, so they actually put their, care into it, and then all of a sudden Universal's like, okay, we need 2 more, figure it out.
Because didn't that start off, weren't they initially signed up for a trilogy, or did they...
I think the first one, they were waiting to see the first one do it, and then they were going to be like, okay, we'll get 2 more. Because, like, at that point, like, Halloween wasn't a guaranteed moneymaker.
Yeah.
This Rob Zombie movie, like, the first Rob Zombie movie, it did good, but it didn't do, like, phenomenal. And then, and then Halloween 2 just kind of sucked. And then that's pretty much after that is when you start getting, like, The Conjurings, Insidious, and, those movies where kind of the slashers weren't really... I would say probably up until Happy Death Day, which was like 2016. Mm-hmm. That's kind of when slashers kind of got back. So yeah, it wasn't really, at that point, Halloween was not really a guaranteed, moneymaker, which is, I think, why they got Jamie Lee Curtis to even get on. And then they ran that into the ground, so,
Yeah, it's yeah.
Or into the meat cleaver, trash compactor.
And again, I didn't
hate... Hey, that's the best scene of the whole movie.
Yeah, I didn't hate the other 2 as much as everyone else, but yeah, if they would have just put out 2018 and
that's all we
walked
needed.
away,
That's all we needed.
And you knew they weren't going to do it, but it would have been like, holy shit, that was the best ending for Michael.
Hey, I'll defend Halloween Kills sometimes. Like, I watch that the same way I watch Friday the 13th Part 5. It's just I'm there's still some things to have fun with it.
I mean, you can have fun, but there's a lot of things. I'm not going to get into Halloween Kills, but... Yeah.
With Kills, if they would have just cut out 20 minutes of the hospital lynching, like...
it
would have been a way better movie. I think with that, if they would have just streamlined it a lot more. Like
Anthony Michael Hall's character was so unlikable, too. Like, he's...
And like
I hate how they ended that fucking movie.
Yeah, it should have been Paul Rudd. Apparently, it was supposed to be Paul Rudd because he played Tommy Doyle in
in 6.
But he did Ghostbusters instead.
I guess a wise choice.
Which
I like that. I like Afterlife.
So I still haven't watched any of those yet.
It was way better than Frozen Empire was. I went for fun because I'm a Ghostbusters fan, but
I checked it out just to check it out, but I was just like, wow, I'm really bored.
Yeah, they were trying to be funny. And a lot of it, it's like, all right, is this an overkill of people not being funny? This is, not even... My dad would probably laugh at the shit.
My Ghostbusters viewing is Ghostbusters, Ghostbusters 2, and I saw a couple episodes of the cartoon when that came out.
Yeah.
That was it. I haven't touched anything since then, just because nothing... I've been hearing more recently how much love Afterlife is getting, but even then, it's like, I'll check it out eventually. But it sounds pretty unanimous that Afterlife ain't worth it. Or Frozen Empire.
Yeah, don't worry about Frozen Empire.
All right, well, gentlemen, thanks for being part of this. And
thank you too, Kevin, for joining us this week.
Yes, Kevin.
I'm starting to become the Kimmy Gibbler of the podcast,
Plug and play. Well, hopefully
Kimmy
next time
Gibbler, but not the Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah. JC and Joe T will be back, not too distant future. So
yeah, it's life has gotten really weird for a lot of us, but we're trying to muscle through this, and not saying it's impossible to do without, but it definitely helps a lot that our good friend Kevin has been coming to hang out now that he's got all that marital stuff out of the way.
Yeah, now I'm just...
He can come out to play now once in a while.
Now I'm just living.
All right, well, gentlemen.
It's been real and it's been fun. And it's been real fun.
We'll speak again.
Yeah, well, we'll probably be fighting next time you see me.
Get ready for the bracket.
Yeah, maybe I should look at that tonight so I can be ready for, to add some stuff. Yep. All right, gentlemen. Thank you. Good evening. Talk to y'all soon.
Peace out.
Yeah.
Toodles.
Broadcast completed.
You've been listening to What an Excellent Day for a Podcast. Be sure to come on down to excellentdayforapodcast.com where you'll find our entire catalog. And for your convenience, every episode contains a link where you can text the nerds. Want to throw some praise? Some critique? Perhaps you have a suggestion for a topic you'd like to see us tackle. But while you think about that, you could also check out the connections to all of our socials, including our YouTube channel. Give all them a visit. But don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with everybody you know. And for those feeling a little extra generous, there's also a button where you can support the show in other ways. Every bit of support helps. Well, that's it for this episode. And remember, stay creepy and keep talking some damn horror.